If you use AI to answer Google reviews, you need 4 rules before you automate a single public reply. A polite draft is easy. The hard part is deciding what the model may say and when it must stop. That is a control problem, not a prompt writing problem. If that distinction felt fuzzy, your skill is not the issue. I'm going to show you a review reply control loop built around 4 rules. You will see how to set the truth boundary, route risky reviews, control the response style, and require approval. You will also get an exact prompt structure you can adapt. By the end, you can turn those rules into a clear local business service instead of selling vague AI automation. If this kind of practical AI training is useful, like the video and subscribe to Smart AI Operators, and leave a comment below. I will send you a link to download the 72-hour traction playbook. It shows you how to attract the ideal clients for services, like I'll be covering today, without ads, cold calls, or chasing anyone down. And it's yours free. All you have to do is comment below. I'm Tom Gaddis. Smart AI Operators turns useful AI capability into simple local business services you can understand, explain, and actually deliver. The focus is practical training without the usual hype. Most review automations start in the wrong place. They begin with a trigger, then immediately ask AI to write and post. That makes the automation look impressive, but it skips the business decision. A public reply speaks for the owner, so the first job is not speed. The first job is deciding what the system may say. I call this the review reply control loop. A new review gets classified, receives a draft when appropriate, goes to approval, gets published, then gets logged. The loop matters more than the writing model. Keep it simple. Your service is the control around the reply, not a clever paragraph generator. Rule 1 is the truth boundary. Give the model the review text and only business facts the owner has approved. Do not let it invent a visit detail, refund, discount, policy, employee action, or promised resolution. If the source material does not support a statement, the draft leaves it out. That single rule removes a lot of avoidable risk. Build a small approved facts sheet for each client. Include the business name, public contact channel, service areas, normal hours, and any approved response phrases. Add prohibited claims and topics that require a manager. This is not glamorous work. It is the part that actually makes the system usable when the model sees messy, real-world feedback. Rule 2 is risk routing before drafting. Do not ask for a polished answer first. Ask the model to classify the review. A simple schema can return sentiment, issue type, risk level, whether escalation is required, the reason, and a draft field. Structured output keeps those decisions separate instead of hiding them inside prose. Start conservative. A normal positive review can usually move into a draft queue. A mixed review about communication can also be drafted if the facts are clear. Damage claims, safety issues, legal threats, medical details, and privacy concerns should route to a person. So should payment disputes or uncertain facts. No final public reply gets generated until someone checks the situation. Here is the part most people miss. Negative does not automatically mean dangerous, and positive does not automatically mean safe. A 5-star review can still mention private information. A 3-star review can be a simple service complaint. Your classifier should look at the content and the factual uncertainty, not just the star rating. Rule 3 controls the response style. Google's own guidance is straightforward. Keep replies professional, relevant, short, conversational, and not promotional. For negative feedback, protect privacy and avoid personal attacks. If the situation is complex, move the detailed resolution into a private channel. Your model instructions should mirror those rules instead of inventing a brand new response philosophy. Now make the style concrete. Tell the model to acknowledge the specific feedback, use only verified facts, and avoid repeating the same thank you line. Do not offer a promotion unless the business has explicitly approved that action. Do not claim the problem was fixed unless the source material says it was fixed. Those constraints make approval simpler because the reviewer sees fewer surprises. Rule 4 is approval plus moderation. For a new client, every draft should require a human approve, edit, or reject decision. After approval, the reply can be posted in the Business Profile interface. If the client has approved Business Profile API access, the same reply can be published programmatically. Either way, keep the approval event in the record. Google's Review AP, I can list reviews and update a reply for a verified location. Google also exposes reply moderation state, and recent API updates added policy violation details for rejected replies. That gives you one more control point. A posted reply is not finished until the system checks its status and routes a rejected response back for editing. Make the mistake while it is still cheap. Run the first batch in draft-only mode. Pull a small set of recent reviews, classify them, and compare the proposed routing against a human decision. Then compare the drafts against the owner's actual response standard. Do not increase automation because the demo looked good. Increase it only after the approval pattern is boring and predictable. Here is a hypothetical roofing example. Imagine the review says the crew was on time and the roof looks good, but nobody told the customer when cleanup was finished. The system should classify that as mixed positive feedback with a communication issue. Nothing there requires the model to invent a refund, repair, or private customer detail. Your prompt can say this: draft a public Google business profile response using only the review and approved business facts. If the review contains damage, safety, legal, medical, privacy, payment, or uncertain factual claims, set escalation to true. Do not invent a resolution, promotion, employee action, or private detail. Return risk level, escalation reason, and draft text. For that hypothetical review, a safe draft could thank the customer for the specific feedback and acknowledge the communication gap. It could say the note will be shared with the team if that action is an approved business practice. If it is not approved, leave that sentence out. The system does not get to create operational promises for the owner. Now change the review. Suppose someone says a technician damaged equipment and refused to pay. That should not move straight into a polished public answer. The system flags it, leaves the final draft empty, and sends the record to a manager. After the facts are checked, the manager can approve a careful response or handle it privately. Imperfect action beats everything, but only when the mistakes are contained. That is why this service starts with drafts, approval, and a log. You can build the log in a spreadsheet, database, or CRM. Store the review identifier, rating, risk class, draft, approved reply, approver, posting time, and moderation status. The loudest objection is that AI replies will sound fake or make a bad review worse. That happens when the model is allowed to improvise. This loop does the opposite. It limits facts, separates risk from writing, uses the business's response rules, and keeps a person in the approval path. The value is controlled consistency, not pretending the owner disappeared. So do not sell automatic review replies as the impressive part. Sell the review reply control loop. 4 rules make the service understandable: truth boundary, risk routing, response style, and approval with moderation. Build those controls first. Test them in draft mode. Then let the writing model do only the job you have actually authorized. Now, how do we take this information and turn it into monthly paying clients? The standard approach is volume. Cold outreach, cold email, cold DMs, cold calling. I've tried all of these, and frankly, they suck. None of them made me feel good about what I was doing. For a long time, I thought that was me. I thought I just wasn't good enough at this. But it turns out these are the worst possible things you could be doing. Because not only do you sound needy, which turns off your prospects immediately, you also sound exactly like everyone else out there. Same message, same inbox, same day. So let me show you a different approach. What if you could have businesses reaching out to you? Like this. These are real results. And they happened with no cold outreach and no expensive ads. Here's the one thing they all have in common. They stopped selling AI, but are these just freebie-seeking looky-loos? Or are they ready to buy? Here's Sarah. Over 60 local businesses in her inbox. She reached out to exactly one of them and offered her $249 founding member package. He was in immediately. Then on the audit call, he asked what else she could help him with. That one lead turned into a $4,200 deal. And Sarah was paid to be on the call where he bought more services. Chris, $2,000 setup fee plus $297 a month. Bam, first client ever. $500 setup fee, $650 a month, paid in advance. $3,900. No ads, no cold email, no chasing anybody down. They led with something people actually wanted. The trust was already there, and the buyers came to them. Now let me show you how to do it too. I call this the local groups method, and it works in local Facebook groups, on Reddit, on Nextdoor, and on Alignable. It's only 3 simple steps. Step 1, we find the local groups. These are the communities where the people in your town are already hanging out and talking to each other every single day. On Facebook, you search your area plus local business groups. So, Tampa, local business groups. Phoenix, local business groups. Whatever your city is. And if you want to niche down, say you're going after home services, you just search something like Las Vegas home service business groups, and you'll see groups like this. Look at these numbers: 7,000 members, 26,000, 23,000, 10,000. Add up just the groups on this one screen, and you are looking at tens of thousands of local business owners, all in one place, all reachable, for free. That's your market, and you don't have to build. It already exists. Step 2, we make one simple post. And I want to be really clear here, because this is where people get it wrong. This is not a pitch. It's just an invitation. Here's the post. Notice what's not in there. No services, no pricing, no book a call with me. You're not asking for anything. You're offering something. And what are we giving away? A free listing on a local directory site, like this one. You can see it's customized to a local area. You can also create a site around a specific niche, like home services. It has dynamic search so people can find businesses. Businesses can post deals. There's local events, local news, etc. Normally, it would take you weeks to months to set something like this up. But with my Smart Directory AI software, you can do it in an afternoon. I don't have time to go through it all in this video. So go to smartdirectory.ai to see how it works and get started for free. Again, the whole ask is, I'm building a hub for local businesses in our area, and I would love to give you a free listing on it. Nobody has to think hard about it. Nobody has to spend $1. Nobody has to get on a call. The bar to say yes is on the floor, which is exactly why so many people say yes. Step 3, we respond to the comments. And here's the key to this whole thing. We are not trying to sell anybody anything. We're just showing up and providing value. When someone responds, we create their free listing. Then we make them a special offer to upgrade that listing. That offer includes an online visibility marketing report, a $99 value. Replies written to every one of their old reviews, a $199 value. 60-second promotional video, $299 value. A custom AI agent for their listing, $599 value. Plus all of the advanced directory features. And they get it all at 70% off. The directory coupon feature makes it super easy. Now think about what just happened. Even if they never get a single call from that directory, you delivered high value. You gave them a report they didn't have, review replies they never wrote, a video they didn't own, and an AI agent working for them around the clock. You're not a stranger with a pitch anymore. You're the person who already helped them. So here's how we sell our AI services now that we're in. We ask them to hop on a quick call to go over the deliverables. That's the whole reason for the call. Reviewing the work we already did for them. We walk through all deliverables. We ask if they need any edits. And right there, before we've asked for a single dollar, we're building value and trust. Then we get to the report. And we say something like, and now, let's take a look at your online visibility report so we can see how you're doing. We walk through what's working. We walk through what's broke. And then we ask one question. Do you have someone that can help you fix these things? That's the pitch. If you can even call it a pitch. One question. Because at that point, they're not being sold. They're asking. And there's no version of this where you're the needy one. Because remember, every call you were paid to be on. No hard selling. Only value. That's the big picture view of the process. Find the groups, make one post, deliver real value, and let prospects come to you. If you want the step-by-step with templates, scripts, and AI prompts, all you have to do is comment traction. I'll send you the 72-hour playbook with everything you need to put this into action right now. All right, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Until the next video, stay safe and stay smart.